Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Year of Underrated Stephen King podcast. I am your host, Kim C., and this is my one-woman show where I, a university creative writing instructor, have devoted my whole heart and soul to celebrating, proclaiming, and sharing the writing of Stephen King episode by episode and year after year because it is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Boys and girls, hello! I have missed you all so very much. Do forgive the long delay. For whatever reason, December 2025 decided to swallow me whole and spit out my bones. Oh my goodness, the busyness was unmatched. The workload buried me alive, and all the festive fun was all gas and no brakes. But I have emerged on my favorite day of the year, crawling to the finish line, to provide you all with my favorite episode of the year. That's right, everybody. It is here. We're doing it. Hopefully, over the years, many of you listeners know that New Year's Eve is Kim C's favorite holiday because it's the absolute best occasion that celebrates all of my favorite things, such as reflection, introspection, champagne, sparkles, new beginnings. It's also a global holiday for the most part, excluding China. They're a couple weeks later. But bottom line, folks, it is the best day of the year, my favorite day of the year. And today, my love of New Year's Eve and Stephen King get fused together for my favorite episode. Today, I present to you all the best of Underrated King 2025, where we recap our year of episodes celebrating the work of Stephen King, and we hand out some awards under 10 categories. Before I get to said categories, oh man, everybody, we gotta take a minute to look back at this monumental year in the world of Stephen King. Whoa, friends. Oh my God. I guarantee you this year, 2025, I podcasted my brains out. I podcasted both here on the Year of Underrated Stephen King as well as on the Patreon, The Dance Macabre with Kim C, more than I have ever podcasted any year previous. Easily. This year was jam-packed and busting at the seams. I kid you not, everybody. If you look back, I'm pretty sure we had on average approximately 2 King releases a month. New films, new television adaptations, new short story compilations, new novels. This year was huge, absolutely gargantuan, and what a joy it was to have all this King output to plug in with. It was a lot of work, it was, and I am a little tired, but it was work that made me so incredibly happy during a year that made me oh so very unhappy. So podcasting was a real haven for me. And this year, on the Year of Underrated Stephen King, we put forth 20 episodes. Let's do a quick recap on what was achieved this year on the Year of Underrated Stephen King. This year, my Stephen King book club and I navigated the dark ladies of Stephen King for this year's theme, which dictated a lot of my reading. This year, we accomplished the following novels. Number 1, The Stand. Number 2, Rose Madder. Number 3, Gerald's Game, which was a first-time read. Number 4, Dolores Claiborne, another first-time read. Number 5, Misery. Number 6, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Number 7, we returned back to the world of Captain Trips and read the brand new short story compilation, The End of the World as We Know It. That took us 2 months. Number 8, Bag of Bones. Number 9, Lisey's Story. And number 10, to round things off with a nice light December pick, we concluded the year with The Eyes of the Dragon. Outside of the book club, Kim C. all by her lonesome read the following King titles. Number 11, Never Flinch, and number 12, Dark Tower 6, The Song of Susanna, which, if you listened to that episode, I actually had to read twice, so double read for our 12th King title. In total, everyone, 11 King novels and 1 brand new short story collection. Pretty good! Now, contrary to previous years, we did something a little different in 2025. Aside from the aforementioned Never Flinch and Song of Susanna, We didn't do a lot of direct book to podcast episode content, but we did have some collaborative episodes, which I've never done before, where I chatted with a really cool friend and very clever King fan who had a lot to say about their experiences with these titles. I loved our collaborative episodes. Definitely check those out. I spoke with my friend Jamie for Rose Matter, Brian McCauley for Misery, and I didn't have time to release it this month, but coming out in January, I spoke with the wonderful Calvin Ellis on the criminally underrated 2006 Stephen King novel, Lacey Story, so stay tuned for that one. But I really did enjoy our collaborative episodes this year, buddies, and I hope you did as well. And now, let's talk constant reader interviews, because we had some diamonds this year, did we ever, my friends? This year, we hosted 8 brand new, for the most part, constant readers to the year of underrated Stephen King, 7 brand new guests to the throne, and 1 returning friend. Beginning in January with Grady Hendrix, followed by Anna Rose Reeds, Neil McRobert from Talking Scared joined us again to chat the women of Stephen King. We had Anthony Bresnikan from the Kingcast, Eric Vespi from the Kingcast, those 2 princes, Dr. Cody Vest, Bev Vincent, and George Dunn from George's Reads to round out our 8 constant reader guests of honor. Oh, what a year. We had some sparkling gems with those folk. If you guys have not checked those out, please do so whenever you get a chance. They really brought their A games. And now, sweet, precious, devoted listeners, the heart of this episode is handing out some awards for this year's 10 categories that honor the King titles we read this year. There's 1 or 2 differences from Best of Underrated King 2024. I think I might have swapped out 1 or 2. So there are some new categories this year. But for the most part, the foundation is the same as years previous, because that's how we like it. But there are 1 or 2 new ones. Here are the following categories for the year 2025. Number 1, Best Hero. Number 2, Best Leading Lady. Number 3, Best Sidekick. Number 4, Best Stephen King Film and/or Television Adaptation. Number 5, Best Villain. Number 6, Best Setting. Number 7, Best Youth. Number 8, Best Mythical or Monstrous Creature. Number 9, Best Stephen King Animal. And number 10, the best Stephen King title of 2025. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's announce the nominees for each category. As you all know, I do my very best to stay spoiler-free, but as always, tread carefully. Most Stephen King podcasts really cater to constant readers, so if you are a brand new Stephen King reader, welcome, welcome. It is so wonderful to have you with us. And I'm going to tiptoe around some of these plot lines, but we are reflecting back on the titles we read, and there may be some plot points that squeak through. From the list of 12 King titles I mentioned earlier, if you haven't read any of those yet, be very cautious as you proceed, but I'm going to do my best to stay spoiler-free. Kicking off our 10 awards, Best Hero, we have 6 nominees. First nominee, Stu Redmond from The Stand. Second nominee, Larry Underwood from The Stand. Third nominee, Jesse Burlingame from Gerald's Game. Fourth, Lacey Landon from Lacey's Story. Our 5th nominee, Rosie McClendon from Rose Matter. And 6th nominee, rounding out our best hero contenders, Holly Gibney from Never Flinch. Moving on to Category 2, our nominees for Best Leading Lady. We have 6 nominations and 2 honorable mentions. I forgot to announce before we begin, honorable mentions typically don't win. Typically. There could be a wild hair where one year they do win, but I definitely could not proceed without nominating them. So most of our categories have a couple honorable mentions. Maybe they might win, but for the most part they don't. For Best Leading Lady, our first nominee is Dolores Claiborne from the novel Dolores Claiborne. Second nominee, Franny Goldsmith from The Stand. Third is Susanna Dean from The Song of Susanna. Fourth nominee, Patricia McFarland from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Fifth nominee, Rose McClendon Daniels, or Rose McClendon, we should really chop off the Daniels, you guys know why, from Rose Matter. Sixth is Mia, Daughter of None, from The Song of Susanna. Our two honorable mentions are the following. Nadine Cross from The Stand, practically the definition of leading lady. We gotta give some love for Nadine. And also, I really loved this character, and I do believe she's a leading lady, or at least had a lot of power. King did put her in a supporting role, but I really enjoyed her. Our second honorable mention for the Best Leading Lady category is Sister Bessie from Never Flinch. She was a really cool jazz singer that was a huge part of the plot within Never Flinch. I liked her a lot. Our third category, Best Sidekick or Character in a Supporting Role. First nominee, Tom Cullen from The Stand. Second, Mia, Daughter of None from The Song of Susanna. Third, Dennis, son of Brandon from The Eyes of the Dragon. If you guys remember, he was King Peter's butler. Fourth, Amanda DeBuscher, also known as Manda Bunny, Lacey's younger sister from Lacey's Story. Fifth nominee, this is a deep cut for you constant readers out there, Rogette Whitmore, the evil right hand to Max DeVore in Bag of Bones. Our sixth nominee is Vera Donovan in Dolores Claiborne. And we've got two honorable mentions for Best Sidekick or Character in a Supporting Role. Our first honorable mention is Dorcas from Rose Matter, another deep cut out there. Followed by a second deep cut, Gert Kinshaw from Rose Matter. I have a lot of love for that novel, so we've got a lot of characters floating around in these categories. Maybe they might win a few things. Let's move on to our fourth category, Best Stephen King Television or Film Adaptation that I watched this year. I'm also including one that I forgot from last year just to mix it up. During last year's Best of Underrated King 2024, I forgot to mention that I watched The Outsider on HBO. That definitely would have factored into last year's winner, which I think was Dr. Sleep, the director's cut by director Mike Flanagan. We're going to throw it in here because I forgot to mention it. But our first nominee for Best Stephen King Television or Film is, of course, the recently concluded, wow, tons of viewers, Welcome to Derry on HBO, directed by Andy Muschietti or Muschietti. I've been saying it wrong the entire time. Second nominee, The Long Walk film, directed by Francis Lawrence. Third, The Life of Chuck by Mike Flanagan. Fourth, The Running Man by director Edgar Wright. Fifth, The Institute on MGM Plus, directed by Jack Bender. That was an 8-episode miniseries. Welcome to Derry was also 8 episodes. And lastly, just to mix it up, The Outsider from HBO, from Richard Price, from The Wire. Fifth category, we've got 6 nominees. Best Villain. First nominee, Chris/Chrissy Stewart from Never Flinch. Second, Joe St. George, the husband of Dolores Claiborne from the novel Dolores Claiborne. Third nominee is Randall Flagg from The Stand. Of course he's in our nominees. Fourth, Annie Wilkes from Misery, the unsinkable, unkillable villain to rule them all. Gotta mention Miss Wilkes. Fifth nominee, Norman Daniels from Rose Matter. And lastly, our 6th nominee, Sarah Tidwell from Dark Score Lake and the novel Bag of Bones. Our 6th category is Best Setting. We have, of course, 6 nominees and 2 honorable mentions. Our first nominee is the Dixie Pig in New York City from The Song of Susanna. Second nominee is Booyah Moon from Lacey's Story. Third, Randall Flagg's Las Vegas from The Stand. Fourth, The Kingdom of Delane from The Eyes of the Dragon. Fifth, Little Tall Island from Dolores Claiborne. And sixth, The Radioactive City of Lud from Rose Madder. It also features quite heavily in Dark Tower 3, The Wastelands, but here, in this year's award ceremony, Rose Madder. Our two honorable mentions are the following. Dark Score Lake, which is a twofer. That setting appeared largely in the novel Bag of Bones and also in Gerald's Game. Double setting. And lastly, Sidewinder, Colorado, featuring the Wilkes Cabin from Misery. Moving on to category number 7, Best Youth. First nominee, Jake Chambers from The Song of Susanna. Second nominee, Patricia McFarland in The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Third, Prince Thomas, the second son from The Eyes of the Dragon. Fourth, Selena St. George, daughter of Dolores Claiborne. Fifth, Little Joe, also known as Leo, from The Stand. I don't have a last name for Little Leo. I think he's a little bit of a mystery boy. And our sixth nominee is little Kyra DeVore, who is the 3-year-old daughter from Maddie DeVore in the novel Bag of Bones. On to our eighth category, almost done. Best Creature, Mythical, Beastly, or Monstrous Creature. We have 6 nominees and 2 honorable mentions. Our first nominee, the Long Boy from Booyah Moon in Lacey's Story. This one is a little bit of a stretch, don't come for me, but I think he's a little creaturey, everybody. Our second nominee is Raymond Joubert, the Moonlight Man from Gerald's Game. He's human, but he's also kind of not. There's a genetic anomaly going on, but he's also pretty monstrous, so I'm going to die on the hill that he's a creature. Third nominee, the God of the Lost from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This one's a deep cut for you constant readers out there, but if you know, you know. Fourth nominee, the Cantoi / the Yellow Men from Dark Tower 6, The Song of Susanna. Fifth, Rose Madder from Rose Madder. Ooh, this one's wild, guys. If you know, she's the lady on the horse, but is she a lady? I don't know. Our sixth nominee is Norman Daniels as the Bull in Rose Madder. He definitely becomes very creaturey toward the end. And our 2 honorable mentions, this is a bit of a stretch, but I don't care. Niner the Dragon, which is the extinct sort of taxidermied husk of the dragon. This is a very large set piece found within the Eyes of the Dragon novel. I really enjoy it. And lastly, we've got an honorable mention for Shardik the Bear in The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, who is a bear, but not quite. If you know, you know, right, Dark Tower fans? Moving right along to category number 9, Best Animal. We've got 5 nominees. First nominee, oh my goodness, Little Oi, the Billy Bumbler from The Song of Susanna. Second nominee, the Mystery Dog from Gerald's Game. So this one's a little unique, but as you guys know, the Gerald's Game novel begins with Jessie and her husband headed up to their cabin, and they see a dog. It's a large dog, maybe smaller than a German Shepherd, but also bigger than a Labrador. I don't know exactly what breed it was, but we've got a dog. We're throwing him in there. He's very integral to the plot anyway. Third nominee, this is another stretch. I don't know if this dog was featured in the novel Never Flinch, but it's Odell Robinson, the golden retriever who belongs to Barbara and Jerome Robinson. I am a little unsure if he was in this novel. I don't know. So this one might not count, but I just wanted to throw him in because I really like Odell, the golden retriever. Fourth nominee is Kojak from The Stand. Sweet angel. And our fifth nominee is Annie Wilkes's pig, named Misery, from the novel Misery. Here's the thing, though, everybody. Was that in the film or was that in the novel? So this might be another squidgy one that might not count. I know it's featured in Rob Reiner's Rest in Peace film, Misery. I know that the pig is featured. I feel there is a sow mentioned in the novel, so we're just gonna go with it. And lastly, our final category, rounding out the 10, the best Stephen King title of 2025. So to mix it up this year, I decided to only feature the King titles I had read for the very first time. I know in previous years I lumped everything in, whether it was the third read, second time read. I decided to really make it a challenge, and I took only the novels I have read for the first time. Those are the only ones that are featured. Here are our 5 nominees and 2 honorable mentions. First nominee, The Stand, specifically the 1990 uncut edition. Second nominee is Gerald's Game. Third nominee, Dolores Claiborne. Fourth nominee is Never Flinch from 2025, a brand new King title. And our fifth nominee is Dark Tower 6, The Song of Susanna. Our first honorable mention belongs to the brand new short story collection that I read this year for the very first time, The End of the World as We Know It, followed by Hansel and Gretel. Hopefully you guys got your hands on that. King rewrote the tale with his wonderful King flair and had illustrations from the late great Maurice Sendak from Where the Wild Things Are. I really liked it. It's so cute and sweet. All right, everyone. Now that we have reached the end of our nominees, let's announce the winners. I'm going to recap our nominees and then announce who's going home with a prize. For our first category of Best Hero, once more, the nominees are the following. Stu Redman from The Stand, Larry Underwood from The Stand, Jesse Burlingame from Gerald's Game, Lacey Landon from Lacey's Story, Rosie McClendon from Rose Matter, and lastly, Holly Gibney from Never Flinch. And the winner for 2025's Best Hero is our third nominee, Jesse Burlingame from Gerald's Game. Okay, everybody, Girlfriend is absolutely the hugest hero out of this list. Granted, if you're on the list, it means I love you. It means I love you dearly and desperately. But friends, Jesse Burlingame not only escaped death and imprisonment, but then in the third act, she also has to escape a terrifying killer. She is triumphing in so many categories. She also conquered the pain of the past. She's got a lot of dark skeletons in her closet, which is a large part of the novel that the reader explores. So we've got dark secrets, literal death she's escaping, starvation, imprisonment, all these terrible things, followed by a killer. 3 triumphs. Jessie gets the crown. Hands down, she's the best this year. Moving on to our second category for Best Leading Lady. Once more, 6 nominations and 2 honorable mentions. They are the following. Dolores Claiborne from Dolores Claiborne, Franny Goldsmith from The Stand, Susanna Dean from The Song of Susanna, Patricia McFarlane from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, Rose McClendon from Rose Matter, and Mia, Daughter of None from The Song of Susanna. Our 2 honorable mentions are Nadine Cross from The Stand and Sister Bessie from Never Flinch. The winner for our Best Leading Lady is going to... Oh, this one was hard, everybody. This one was so very difficult. But I gotta give it to Rose McClendon from Rose Matter. Everybody, if you have not yet spent some time with that 1995 criminally underrated diamond of a book, I highly recommend so you can witness the radical transformation of the character of Rose McClendon. She is a very disenfranchised woman who marries a terribly abusive man. She escapes and rebuilds a new life, and the reader gets to really see her, pun intended, bloom like a rose. But at the same time, there's all this other stuff that happens in the book. It's not just about a woman overcoming her abuser and beginning again. No. It goes much deeper. where we actually are setting foot into another world and taking on a heroic mission. There's also themes that Rose explores about burying the past and letting anger and rage consume you, and what might happen to the super sweet, lovely, nice, obedient wife, and once she is set free from those shackles, maybe something a little sinister may have taken root inside, and what does that look like? Oh my goodness! So many wonderful things. I am such a huge fan of Rose McClendon. Technically, her married name is Daniels, so many people refer to her as Rose McClendon Daniels, but for our investigation, Rose McClendon is my favorite leading lady for 2025. Category number 3, Best Sidekick or Character in a Supporting Role. The nominees are the following: Tom Cullen from The Stand, Mia, daughter of None from The Song of Susanna, Dennis, son of Brandon from The Eyes of the Dragon, King Peter's butler. Next, we have Amanda DeBuscher, also known as Manda Bunny from Lacey's Story. 5th nominee, Rogette Whitmore from Bag of Bones, Vera Donovan from Dolores Claiborne, and 2 honorable mentions, Dorcas from Rose Matter, and Gert Kinshaw from Rose Matter. Our winner for Best Sidekick or Character in a Supporting Role, oh, again, this was very hard, Mia, daughter of None from The Song of Susanna. Okay, before I go into how much I love Mia, I know everybody out there is probably shaking their fist that Tom Cullen didn't win. Hear me out. I am pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure that Tom has won. I think he actually might have won last year. Maybe? Because I had started my Stand coverage by the time I recorded last year, and I remember really loving Tom. If he didn't win and I'm wrong on that, then Tom is first runner-up. If not, he might be a co-winner, because you're absolutely correct, everybody. I hear you clucking out there. Tom Cullen is the most perfect, wonderful, amazing sidekick anyone could ever ask for. You guys know how brightly he shines in The Stand. I am aware of this, but I was convinced that I gave him the award last year. Pretty sure he won last year, but if I'm wrong, he is tied for first. He is co-winner with Mia, daughter of None from The Song of Susanna, who has a lot of scene-stealing moments in Song of Susanna. She's a little bit evil at first, she's a little parasitic, and then we learn her story, which is very layered and complex, and I enjoyed her a great deal. I was happy to give her the crown for Best Sidekick / Character in a Supporting Role. Category number 4, Best Stephen King TV or Film Adaptation. Once more, the nominees are the following: Welcome to Derry, The Long Walk, The Life of Chuck, The Running Man, The Institute, and The Outsider, which I watched last year, but I love it a lot. This was a very easy award to disperse. Well, not exactly super easy. I did second guess a little bit. But the winner of my favorite Stephen King television or film adaptation goes to, of course, second year in a row he has won. We must award The Life of Chuck, directed by Mike Flanagan. Oh my goodness, everybody. I loved this movie so much. I cried happy tears. The Long Walk made me cry devastated, traumatized tears. But The Life of Chuck made me so incredibly happy. What a gorgeously faithful adaptation Flanagan put forth. The casting is impeccable. The additions that augmented the heart of the story were incredible. There is so much to praise. I enjoyed all of the Stephen King television and film adaptations this year, but Life of Chuck is just a little cut above. If you have not yet watched it, I do believe at this present time it is streaming on Hulu, so please make sure you start your 2026 viewing The Life of Chuck if you haven't already. Moving on to our 5th category, Best Villain. This was very challenging. Once more, we've got 6 nominees. Chris / Christy Stewart from Never Flinch, who is a cross-dressing murderer. I think. We've got a couple murderers in Never Flinch, and I'm a little squidgy. I think, for the most part, Chris / Christy Stewart is a vandal. I don't really recall what their body count was. But moving on. Second is Joe St. George. Dolores Claiborne's husband, followed by Randall Flagg from The Stand, Annie Wilkes from Misery, Norman Daniels from Rose Madder, and Sarah Tidwell from Dark Score Lake and Bag of Bones. Our winner for Category 5, Best Villain. This was tricky, but this year I really, really, really hated Norman Daniels from Rose Madder. All right, my dudes, once more, spend some time with Rose Madder, the novel, if you haven't, but Norman Daniels was so upsetting on the page. I think everybody else in the nominees, I enjoyed them. I had a very cathartic healing moment with the end of Bag of Bones and the character of Sarah Tidwell. It was a long journey to find some peace with that one, but Norman Daniels really stood out to me on my this was my third read of Rose Madder in 2025, and Norman just really angered me. He really got under my skin. He is, some would argue, an over-the-top, too bombastic caricature of a villain. I disagree. I think that in these modern times, sadly, looking at a character like Norman Daniels is not hyperbolic in the slightest. He is horrific and very plausible. He is the winner of the best villain for 2025. Sixth category, Best Setting. We've got 6 nominees and 2 honorable mentions. Really quick, they are the following. The Dixie Pig in New York City from The Song of Susanna. Booyah Moon from Lacey's Story. Randall Flagg's Vegas from The Stand. The Kingdom of Delane from The Eyes of the Dragon. Little Tall Island from Dolores Claiborne. And The City of Lud from Rose Madder. 2 honorable mentions are Dark Score Lake from Bag of Bones and Gerald's Game, followed by Sidewinder Colorado from Misery. All right, buddies, I loved all of our settings. Every single one that I mentioned, all 8 of these, I adore so much. They're so great. King does some beautiful things with all of these settings, but the winner has got to be the most effed up place I do not want to go to, but I loved reading about it. The Dixie Pig in New York City from The Song of Susanna. Oh my gosh, everyone! The Dixie Pig is nuts! I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who's not quite that far on their Dark Tower journey, but all I shall say is that the Dixie Pig is not what it seems, and there are a lot of frightening creatures inside. It is not a place you want to go. It would be very, very unsafe for a human. It is a meeting spot for several nefarious characters. Very sinister individuals within the Dark Tower universe are meeting at this location. Once more, I want to stay pretty opaque on that. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but the Dixie Pig ain't good. But reading about it was very cool. Once I got more details as to what was happening, oh man, my mouth was agape. I was shocked. I was gasping. I could not believe what is going down at the Dixie Pig, my favorite setting for 2025. Number 7, Best Youth. Our nominees are Jake Chambers from The Song of Susanna, Patricia McFarland in The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, Prince Thomas, the second son from The Eyes of the Dragon, Selena St. George, Dolores Claiborne's daughter, Little Joe, also known as Leo from The Stand, and little 3-year-old Kyra DeVore from Bag of Bones. Our winner for Best Youth, I gotta give it to my girl, Patricia McFarland from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. For you King film fans out there, I hope this is real. I probably am jinxing it. It's probably going to die because I'm ruining it. But the screenwriter for the Long Walk film adaptation, I believe his name is TJ Molnar? Mr. Molnar? Apparently, he is composing the script for a film adaptation of The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, which I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to be first in line for that one. I adore this little book. I know a lot of people don't care for it as much as I do, and that is okay. It doesn't move the dial for many King readers out there, and that is fine. No worries there. But I just love little 9-year-old Patricia, and reading her story again, I just feel she is so brave. She's so underrated, composed, sweet, ferocious, intense. She really impressed me. I know I have awarded Jake in other years Yeah, I definitely have. I love my Jake Chambers very, very much. And he has really grown, oh my gosh, on the Tower journey. It's been really, really nice observing Jake's growth. But Patricia really captured my heart this year, so she wins Best Youth. Category 8, almost done, everybody. Best Creature, Mythical, Beastly, or Monstrous. Once more, the Long Boy from Booyah Moon in Lisi's story. Raymond Joubert, the Moonlight Man from Gerald's Game. The God of the Lost from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. The Cantoy / Yellowman from The Song of Susanna. Rose Madder, the character of Rose Madder from the Rose Madder novel. And lastly, Norman Daniels as the Bull in Rose Madder. Our honorable mentions are Niner the Dragon and Shardik the Bear. Our winner for Best Creature, I gotta give it to the Long Boy from Booyah Moon. This was a tricky one. We had a lot of good nominees. I was this close to the Cantoy, but the Long Boy is wild, everybody. I also want to reach out to the constant readers out there because Lisi's story and Duma Key are very close in publication order. And in Duma Key, we've got a big boy, and then in Lisi's story, we've got the Long Boy, which King does this a lot in his works. It's not a big deal. But the Long Boy is very freaky. Big Boy is a little bit more aquatic and amphibious. Is that a word? He has amphibian-like qualities, which is very interesting. That's all I'll say there. I've probably said too much. Apologies there. But the Long Boy is cool, and that's all I'll say. It is creaturey. It is dangerous. You do not want to run into the Long Boy. I had a really good time with Lisi's story this year. That collaborative coverage coming up with my friend Calvin Ellis should be featured in January sometime, so stay tuned for that. But the Long Boy is our winner for Best Creature. Number 9, Best Animal. Our 5 nominees are Oi from The Song of Susanna, the Mystery Dog from Gerald's Game, Odell Robinson from Never Flinch, or other Mr. Mercedes books, Kojak from The Stand, Annie Wilkes' pig named Misery from the novel Misery. This is very hard, but I had to give it to that sweet baby angel Kojak from The Stand. He is so wonderful that King gives him his very own chapter, and Kojak gets his own point of view. That's how magical he is. We have a Kojak chapter, and it is wonderful, and we learn he used to have a different name, and he's such a great dog. I loved my time with him in The Stand. I have to give it to Kojak, and I know. Oi is always the winner. He always will be the winner. He is a marvelous, wonderful creature. We love Oi the Billy Bumbler, and I'm pretty sure I have awarded him in years previous. I can almost guarantee it. So this year we're sharing with Kojak from The Stand. I don't think a lot of people are upset about that one. I think Kojak also has a lot of fans out there. All right, everyone, we've reached the end. This is our final and 10th category, the Best Stephen King title of 2025. Once more, these are only the titles I read for the very first time are featured as nominees. 5 nominees and 2 honorable mentions. One more time for the road. The Stand, Gerald's Game, Dolores Claiborne, Never Flinch, Dark Tower 6, The Song of Susanna. Honorable mentions are The End of the World as We Know It, and Hansel and Gretel. So cute. Oh my goodness, friends. I have to give the crown to the 1990 uncut edition of The Stand. It really consumed a lot of my 2025, and I was thrilled about it. I spent a good 6 to 7 weeks with the text at the end of 2024 and early 2025, and then I went back to the world of Captain Trips for the short story collection. It is a remarkable journey of a novel. I loved it. It really spoke very loud and ticked a lot of boxes for me this year. I want to say my second place award, I know we're not exactly doing that, but just because it's my show and I do whatever I want, I would give second place to Dolores Claiborne. That novel absolutely blew me away. What an incredible story. Oh my gosh. Dolores Claiborne absolutely melted me, followed by our third place winner, who gets the bronze, Dark Tower 6, The Song of Susanna. I had to read it twice, as you guys know. I had a difficult time digesting that one, but once I got it. And I really enjoyed it. I do think it's a very important book in the Tower Journey. I celebrate a lot of things within that one, so that one would get bronze. Alright everybody, really quick, giant recap of all of our winners. Number 1, Best Hero is Jessie Burlingame from Gerald's Game. Our Best Leading Lady goes to Rose McClendon from Rose Matter. Best Sidekick or Character in a Supporting Role is Mia, Daughter of None from The Song of Susanna. Best Stephen King TV or Film goes to The Life of Chuck, directed by Mike Flanagan. Best Villain is Norman Daniels from Rose Matter. Best Setting, The Dixie Pig in New York City from The Song of Susanna. Best Youth goes to Patricia McFarland, who is 9 years old in The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Best Creature goes to The Long Boy from Booyah Moon, found within the Lacey Story novel. Best Animal is Kojak from The Stand. And lastly, the best Stephen King title of 2025, my first time read, is the 1990 uncut edition of The Stand. That will do it, my dear loves. Oh my goodness, at this point in time, I'm going to head to the fridge and pop an extra crisp, extra dry bottle of sparkling bubbles, as well as unwrap some chocolates, and sit with my sequins and my lipstick and say farewell to 2025. But first, a toast to all of you. I raise my glass with a heart full of gratitude. Thank you all so very much for listening to the show this year. Thank you for all of your support and encouragement and allowing the 5th year of this little baby podcast. You've made it the best one we've ever had. If you are interested in more from me, and every now and again, if you notice it's a little quiet on the year of underrated Stephen King, please jump over to the Dance Macabre with Kim C. That is my Patreon, where we have extra content exploring Stephen King on film, Stephen King TV, Stephen King female, Stephen King short stories. We got a lot of stuff popping up over there. And so if it's a little light on content on this side, chances are I'm doing a few things on the other side. It would be so awesome to have you join us. Please head to patreon.com/dancewithkimc. That's dance with an S. So feel free to plug in and see what I'm up to over there. If you would like to say hello and haven't yet done so, feel free to reach me on any of the socials. I am on Instagram and Threads the most. Or you could also send me an email at underratedsk@gmail.com, as I would love to hear from you and learn about your history with King's works. Today, as I'm recording, is New Year's Eve, the best day ever. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, or if you're listening to this on New Year's Day, happy New Year. May you have a pleasant look back on the year that was. And no matter what happened, whether this year was a suckfest or the best year yet, no matter what went down, you're here. You made it. You're still on your feet, converting oxygen to carbon dioxide, and that is something to celebrate. So toast to you all, the ones who stand, the ones who read, the ones who vote, the ones who are truly the best people any girl could ever know. I love you all to the moon and back. Thank you so much for a wonderful 2025. From the bottom of my heart, Happy New Year. I will see you all in the year of the horse 2026, which is the one where Kim C turns 40. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. Getting old is a privilege. Life is a gift. Take care. I will talk to you all very, very soon, and bye-bye.